so let me go back to the leader. We already kind of talked, if you're the leader and you have a victim as an employee, but what happens if the organization leaders are victims? And we're seeing that a lot. We're seeing a lot of young people that go to the C-suite very fast because they're great operators, but they just don't know how to act, and all these soft skills that they should have to get to a C-suite. They go so fast to the C-suite, they have no idea how to manage them and what kind of thing. So what happens when you come to an organization and you get in the leadership? They have a lot of this mentality. What do you do?
Well, a couple things come to mind. But first of all, you mentioned the soft stuff. One of my favorite quotes of all time comes from Roger Enrico, the late Roger Enrico, who was the CEO of PepsiCo back in the 90s. And he made the observation, he said, look, you give me a reasonably intelligent man or woman, we can teach them the hard stuff of business. We can teach them the budgeting, et cetera, et cetera. He said, when it comes to leadership, it's the soft stuff that's hard. And it's the soft stuff that often derails someone in their career. So I want to start with that. And so I think that, so when someone is, this is going to be a little bit one-off from your question, but I think it's really important here, is that if someone is showing up in a victim role, and I need to acknowledge, Daniel, that we all experience victimization from time to time. We all feel victimized. And so it's part of the human condition. And just because I teach this stuff doesn't mean that it's a lifelong practice. But here's what I've learned. If someone is showing up as a victim, two things. One is the worst thing you can do is just say, Daniel, you're being a victim, because that's weaponizing it. And you're going to see me as a persecutor. Yeah. So it's about being able to be empathetic, and from the cultural, asking a question that can help them, or at least invite them to shift. So let's say you come to me and it's clear that you're feeling victimized. I might say something like, boy, Daniel, I really get your frustration, or fill in I really get your anger. And I really see what you're up against. What's one baby step I might use, or what's one thing that you could do to move from how you're feeling into a more productive space that is focused on the outcome that you really care about. So that's one thing that comes to mind. One of the most predominant forms of someone being in the victim role is complaining. Yep. And one of the phrases that comes from Robert Keegan and Lisa Leahy from Harvard's School of Education that I think is just brilliant is they make the observation that behind every complaint lies a commitment. Behind every complaint lies a commitment. And so so do we complain about things we don't care about? No. So if someone's complaining, again, empathetically being able to feed back, boy, I really get that that respect between people is really important to you. So again, to speak to what's behind that complaint, which is an invitation to shift the focus to how do we create more respect, or whatever the context.